Hi, I'm Samuel McBride, and this is my vlog 2 for TE150 Spring 2015 semester. I'm going to be talking about an activity I participated in that was representative of someone else's culture. That person is my friend Niket. He's Indian, and the activity we did was going to his Hindu temple that his family worships at, which was a very eye-opening experience for me, being a person who is Christian. I came into this activity with absolutely no idea what to expect, having never been in any other religious facility before outside of my own Christian congregations. So when we get to the temple, we went to the temple and we sat on the floor and meditated silently, when they talk to their gods or make peace with their spirit, and just it's private meditation time. If you go there during the afternoon or any time, Niket said they have weekly mass services on Sundays, similar to what is typical of Christian churches, but many people don't go to this weekly mass. Instead, they practice by themselves by going and meditating silently throughout the week. And then he showed me around the temple and specified some of its features and the other uses it has. All in all, I wouldn't say there's anything difficult about this experience, because I do try to put myself in other people's shoes and understand the differences and see the world as they may see it. I don't really have a problem accepting and trying to understand the things which make us unique. You know, everyone's brought up maybe believing different things, and who am I to question someone else's beliefs, is kind of the way I look at that. If anything was difficult, it was probably going to the Hindu temple, where when I was there were only Indian people there, and I was the only person of European, a white person there, and maybe I felt like I stuck out a little bit, but I wouldn't say it was the activity of it in and of itself was difficult in any way. Niket said he thought it was good for a white person, a Christian like myself, to actually see and be inside and recognize the way other people and other cultures worship and see the world spiritually in a way that's very different from the way I see it. And I thought it was good for me as well, because it definitely gave me some understanding, and it kind of gave me an idea actually seeing it firsthand, not just hearing about it and painting my own picture. I think we were both comfortable with the experience. I think he was happy to have someone actively willing to learn more about his religion and his culture, because I'm sure that doesn't happen every day. I've never thought about or really looked more into Hinduism than what meets the eyes, so I'm sure maybe it doesn't gather a lot of interest, so I'm sure it excited him to have someone who was willing to learn more. Some things I learned about, some of these things I may have already known, but things that make Hinduism different from Christianity. For example, the mass service is not expected as a weekly thing. You can just go and worship individually, which is different from in the Christian church. Hinduism is also a polytheistic religion. There are many gods. Niket compared this to Greek mythology, how they have the many gods and each of them have their own special meaning or ability. They also have a system of karma and dharma. So your spirit can be reincarnated after you pass on from your earthly life, and your karma is based on things that you do on the earth, and it can be negatively or positively affected by the type of person that you are. And also, when your spirit is returned, that is also affected by the types of things that you do in your previous life. When you go inside the temple, there's a side for the men and side for the women, and you don't really talk when you're inside the temple. When you walk through to the main worship area, there's chairs in the back where a lot of the elder people often sit, and then there's a large area in the front where the younger, more limber people usually sit to be closer to the murals of the gods up on the wall and worship. An interesting story he told me about the murals of the gods that are on the wall that Hindus worship. So when the temple that we visited was built about 5 years ago, there was a previous temple, and that temple was replaced and removed to make room for this newer, bigger temple. So when they took out that temple, they had to remove the murals, and they had to perform a special ritual to transfer the murals from one temple to the other, because to do so they had to lift the spirits up from their resting place. All in all, I don't think Nick and I had any disagreements in views. I think we're both mature and intelligent enough to understand the opposing viewpoints and understand that we're not going to see eye to eye on such things, and we probably never will, and there's nothing wrong with that. In conclusion, I've learned a lot about another culture, which is valuable to me. It gives me a lot of perspective as far as other people and the things that make myself unique and others unique and make us different from one another. I saw another religion firsthand, and I think that gives me a lot of appreciation for the way that another group of people in their own spiritual way chooses to sees the world, because it's a lot different from the way I see the world. But I've never really put myself in those shoes or go look into it further, because I'm never around it, and being there inside that temple, someplace I would never really be otherwise, gave me a lot of perspective and just made me look at these people in a whole different light, because there's all these people here worshiping, and it's just something I would have never seen otherwise, and for that reason I think it was a really cool experience. And I believe that will conclude my vlog 2. Thank you for listening.